Hey everyone, it's Scrappy Pappy here. I have this alert, attention, 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 as I just showed. With the drain valves and other types of valves, there's the gate valve and the ball valve, which I'm going to show how to get the best money for it. But for some reason, either I was told or I assumed, and I'll take that on myself, that a ball valve in there was some sort of steel, chrome or something. Well, it appears to be a chrome plated brass. As you'll see, I'll cut through it and you'll see that it's solid brass. So I was taking some of those and throwing them into the dirty brass. Don't do that. It's solid brass. Get your best dollar, all right? All right, here we are again, a little overview. This is the PT valve or TP valve, whichever you want to call it, pressure and temperature. And it's got the copper recovery at the bottom there, that little rod. Now we're going to talk about some of the other brass. This one's already been cleaned up here. I use a Sawzall to get past that ball valve. There's the ball valve. As you can see, that I mentioned, that is now brass and not just steel. And a couple of them that I had cut off there. Now we'll revisit the brass here in a few minutes. These here are inline ball valves. You can get them, for inline of your water supplies. Now let's look at copper. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you off this PT valve. We're going to separate everything here. And you saw me how I did the PT valve earlier. So what we're concerned about right now is the copper. So I take my Klein cutters and I'm going to cut just short of that solder drip. And remember, number 2 has impurities on it, like solder or really heavy corrosion. This here is now number 1, and this is a mix. So I'm going to take that number 2 off the brass later. Here's another fitting that somebody soldered up, and there's not a whole lot of number 1 on here. As you can see, all that solder dripping, I can't really recover a whole lot there as number 1, but I can at this end. So what I'm going to do is leave this as 2, that whole junction up to the elbow, and cut off that 1. So again, my Klein cutters, and I highly recommend you going out and getting something very similar to this that can cut through cables. It won't cut through steel, it will dull up your blade really bad, but it does cut through copper and brass pretty well, as you just saw. That's 1 and that's 2. Now, here's another section that is in between. So from that piece of solder all the way up to the other end of solder, I'm going to get out as 1. So it's probably about 2 inches. And then at this end, I can probably get about 3 inches of number 1. So again, all you have to do is get your cutters, and you can use a Sawzall or a hacksaw if you don't have one of these cutters, but this is so much faster, as you can see here. What a really good investment. Clean, or number 1, and then we're going to cut off the elbow with the solder. So just cut short of that solder there, and you'll get the most out of it. Okay, number 2 and 1 right there. What I'm going to show you here is a close-up of a ball valve that I cut with my Sawzall, and you can see it looks like chrome or some sort of steel. Well, it is chrome plated brass, and my metal yard will take that as clean brass. And there's the ball in the distance, you'll see that, and there's the back side. You can see it's got brass cut through. So this is what I was saying, don't lose your money. Now here's the 3 types of hot water heater valves that I found. You got the plastic one. That is just total trash. But what I do is I usually break them off so I can drain the water out of the hot water heater, because a lot of metal yards will turn it back if you have water in it. This is the gate valve. The The valve goes up and down as you turn it, and that's called a gate valve. That's all clean. And then the ball valve, which I thought was 2, is now clean, and you can see it all the way in there. So there's no sense in cutting it anymore. That's why I showed you here after I cut it that it was brass. So just leave it as it is and throw it in your clean pile, and there you go. Thanks for watching.